Welcome to the first video in a three-part series outlining the effective use of benthic barriers to control the aquatic invasive yellow flag iris. We would like to thank our funding partners Habitat Conservation Trust Foundation Enhancement and Restoration Stewardship Grant and Wildlife Habitat Canada. Wildlife Habitat Canada has been able to provide critical funding to Canadian conservation projects such as ours for over 35 years, all from the sale of the Canadian Habitat Conservation Stamp. Buy your stamp today and support Canadian conservation. Let's start with an overview of plant biology. Plants have two general responses to stress. They either go dormant, like your lawn grass, when you stop watering it. The plant shuts down and basically says, "Wake me up when this is over." These are called stress avoiders. The other response is to grow like crazy. The plant is trying to grow to a better environment or to produce lots of seeds to ensure the population continues. These are called stress tolerators, and this is yellow flag iris. When yellow flag iris is stressed, its response is to use up carbohydrate reserves to continue to grow and hopefully grow into a better environmental condition. When we look at yellow flag iris in particular, we see that the plant has an enormous rhizome system that provides massive amounts of stored carbohydrates. These carbohydrates act as the food reserve that yellow flag iris uses to tolerate stress and continue growing. Let's combine the biology of the plant with the ecosystem it is growing in. Yellow flag iris is a species that can grow in a wide range of conditions, from partially submerged aquatic to upland fully terrestrial conditions. When it is in aquatic environments, it is growing in saturated soil with limited oxygen. What does that mean in terms of plant biology? Well, when a plant uses its carbohydrates, we call that respiration. For a human, it's referred to as digestion. In plants, there are two forms of respiration. The first type of respiration is aerobic respiration. That's when plants are eating their food in the presence of oxygen. This is what normal terrestrial plants do. And this is what yellow flag iris does when it's on upland terrestrial sites. The other form of respiration is anaerobic respiration. This is respiration with reduced oxygen. This is what plants do in saturated waterlogged soils. Plants can very quickly switch from aerobic to anaerobic respiration. But there is a cost of anaerobic respiration. A byproduct of anaerobic respiration is the production of toxic gases. The plant's response to the toxic gas is to release it out the stomata of the leaves. So while anaerobic respiration is not the most efficient way for a plant to eat their food, it does allow them to survive in waterlogged conditions. Let's put together the biology of yellow flag iris with the ecology of where it's growing and introduce the benthic barrier concept. Yellow flag iris is a stress tolerator. It will continue to grow regardless of the conditions because it is literally hardwired to use its food resources. Combine this trait with the fact that it often grows in waterlogged soils. This means that as it uses its food resources or carbohydrates, it is producing gases that need to be emitted out through the leaf stomata. Now, if we remove the leaves and put down a heavy, impenetrable barrier, the plant will continue to use its food resources and produce the toxic gases. But the key is that the gases are not able to be released out the stomata because there are no leaves. And these gases are like free radicals. They bounce around inside the plant, destroying cell membranes. What does this mean for the land managers using benthic barriers to control yellow flag iris? It means that there can be no leaf formation, no opportunities for leaf formation, and no opportunities for the treated area to be connected to an untreated area by way of the underground rhizome network. It also means that benthic barriers work faster in aquatic waterlogged sites where yellow flag iris is under anaerobic respiration. In terrestrial environments, yellow flag iris will need to deplete its carbohydrate reserves through aerobic respiration, resulting in a much slower death rate. It is still effective, just slower because there is no toxic gas production. The benthic barriers will take longer to work the larger the rhizome network. This means larger areas take longer, as do older populations, as they both have extensive rhizome development. The benthic barrier also works faster in mild climates, such as coastal regions, versus northern climates. This is because yellow flag iris naturally has a longer growing season in mild regions, resulting in a very short winter shutdown period. Now that you understand the science behind how benthic barriers work, visit the second video for examples of how to correctly install the barriers. Then the third video outlines instructions on when to remove the barriers, how to identify complete rhizome mortality, and the consequences of incorrect barrier installation.